The Ginault brand has always impressed me ever since I purchased the silent service. Some of the things that stood out to me were the amazing anti-reflective coating on the crystal, the smooth, crisp bezel action, and the functional on-the-fly adjustment system on the clasp. You get premium fit and finishing with a Sellita elaborate grade movement that's regulated by Ginault for 6 weeks and comes with a certificate with its results. All that for under $2,000 I would say is a great value, and it's why I decided to purchase the silent service. However, it was the Ocean Rover model that put Ginault on the map, and today I have with me the Ocean Rover 2. I suppose this could be unofficially labeled as the Ocean Rover 2.5 due to some tweaks and minor upgrades from the original Ocean Rover 2. And I only found that out because of the Facebook group Ginault Watch Club. There's a loyal fan base in that group, and they are very much into their Ginault watches. So make sure to check that group out if you want to learn more about the brand. So after confirming the changes with the owner John, here are some of the upgrades. The current outgoing Ocean Rover 2 now has minute markers printed on the bottom of the dial, where "hand built in America" is written. That way you can set the time accurately in between that 10-minute window. Ginault also upgraded the case back to a more slimmer design as opposed to the Rolex bubble style case back, and that brings the entire thickness down to 11.2 millimeters. They also improved on the clarity of the crystal. It is triple layered with anti-reflective coating with an improved AR refraction index rating. If you own the silent service, you will have an idea on how good the AR coating is. Though at first I thought the silent service had a better crystal, it's because that one had a matte finish dial as opposed to this glossy enamel dial that reflects light. The crystal seems to just disappear at certain angles, one of the best crystals I've seen to date. The bracelet now features 3 permanent links instead of 4, which is more suitable for those with slender wrists. In fact, it just gives me flashbacks when I did a review on the Rolex 16570 and how I couldn't get the clasp centered because of those 4 permanent links. This upgrade to the bracelet provides a huge sigh of relief, and it's my favorite upgrade out of the bunch. The profile for the mid links are slightly trimmed, so it would feel thinner compared to the earlier version. And I guess that would make sense since the thickness of the case has been trimmed down as well, making it more balanced overall. The case measures in at 39.3 millimeters from 8 to 2. However, the bezel assembly overhangs the case a bit at 40 millimeters wide. It has a thickness of 11.2 millimeters, lug to lug of 47.6 millimeters, end link to end link of 50.8 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters, with my favorite crown size of 7 millimeters. It has 300 meters of water resistance. The bracelet tapers down to 15.4 millimeters, with the clasp at 17.8 millimeters. The bezel insert is ceramic. The crystal is a flat sapphire crystal with a triple layer of AR coating as mentioned earlier, and mine came built with the perfect date magnifier. Not every company can do a tasteful date magnifier, but Ginault has knocked it out of the park with their Cyclops. It is essentially the same magnification ratio of Rolex and adds moderate spacing around the date. As someone who always opts for a date complication, the Cyclops is a really important factor when adding a watch to my collection. Some companies, such as Steinhardt, don't magnify the dates large enough, which defeats the purpose of a date magnifier, while others magnify the date too large, leaving no space around it, and looks blown out of proportion, like the Seiko SPB 197. Another good example of the type of Cyclops I prefer is the King Samurai, nicely magnified with some spacing around it. The dial features a high-gloss enamel dial with applied indices. The minute hand, hour hand, and indices are all polished, with the exception of the second hand, which adds a pop of red to an otherwise monochromatic dial. The lume is superb. This thing glows bright for a long time. The material is Superluminova BGW9 and it seems to be thickly applied. There's definitely no disappointment in this department. Each case is hand finished and hand built with thin chamfers on the lugs. The top surfaces are all brushed, with the exception of the crown guards, while the sides are mirror polished. The bezel action on this is simply amazing. Have a listen. Honestly, it feels and sounds just like my Submariner, and that's exactly how I felt with my silent service. Smooth, crisp, and tactile with no lateral play. The minute markers and numbers on the ceramic bezel insert are engraved and coated with platinum. It has a silver grainy texture with a lume pip at 12 o'clock. The shade of blue on this is an interesting one. It is navy blue on a bright sunny day or if there's plenty of lighting in the room. But in low light conditions, I'm seeing more of a steel blue tone and kind of has that aged effect to it. The bracelet is a standard 3-link oyster style bracelet. It has good articulation between the links and features an on-the-fly adjustment system, just like Rolex's glide lock system. It has several increments of adjustments by about 2 millimeters spaced apart. It also comes with one half link, but I doubt it can be useful because of the easy micro adjustments it already has. Nonetheless, the added half link can't hurt. The clasp has been re-profiled from the previous version to provide more comfort and locks in with a satisfying click. The tolerances seem very tight all around. The watch sits incredibly low on the wrist thanks to the new case back and will slide easily underneath the cuff of your shirt. Look at that thin mid-case profile. It's also very light, weighing in at 140 grams with all the links attached. So there you have it, Ginault's very own modern reinterpretation of the classic Mil Sub. That was their initial design concept. It was a question on how Rolex would have evolved the Mil Sub had it not been discontinued. And so they kept the sword hands, transitioned to applied indices, changed the dial to high gloss enamel, added a ceramic bezel insert, fitted with an upgraded bracelet with solid end and solid mid links. The end product feels like a vintage watch with its 5-digit Submariner case with all the modern upgrades you see in today's industry. I wore this in the office the other day and my colleague immediately asked me about it. It was his first time handling a Ginault watch, and suffice it to say, he was impressed. This watch has some bling factor to it, and it will turn some heads. If you have a 6-digit Submariner, it'll have that same level of presence only in a smaller, compact form, so keep that in mind. The watch is a pleasure to wear. I love the blue-black combo with that high-quality ceramic insert, and I've always been a fan of the sword hands. That, along with a regulated Swiss movement and a perfect everyday case size, it's no wonder Ginault fans are passionate about this brand, and I'm looking forward to what Ginault has in mind for future projects. Let me know what you guys think about this watch or this brand as a whole. Is it a great alternative to the Submariner? Does it beat out other brands within this price segment? And lastly, is this what you envision in a modern day Mil Sub timepiece? Thanks for watching.